The fog over Kirn Pier. In the quiet seaside town of Dunoon, the fog does not roll in. It waits. It gathers in the folds of the hills and lingers over the Firth of Clyde like something undecided. On certain nights, it creeps toward Kirn Pier with a patience that feels almost deliberate. It was on such a night that Alistair McRae failed to return home. Alistair was not the sort of man to wander. A retired ferry engineer, punctual as the tides, he took the same evening walk every day, down Marine Parade, past the darkened Victorian villas, and out along Kirn Pier to watch the last light collapse behind the water. At 9:30, his wife noticed the clock. At 10, she noticed the silence. By morning, the town noticed the fog. It hadn't lifted. Police searched the shoreline first. No sign of struggle. No footprints beyond his own. The tide had been calm, the harbour undisturbed. His coat was later found folded neatly on a bench halfway down the pier. Inside the pocket was his pocket watch, stopped at 9:17 p.m. The glass face had cracked from the inside. Locals murmured about the old naval boom nets once stretched across the Clyde during the war, about ships that vanished into whiteouts, about the way sound behaves strangely over water when the air turns thick. But the stranger detail lay not in what was found, rather in what was heard. 3 residents along the waterfront reported the same thing that night. A low metallic groan rolling through the fog. Not a ship's horn, not the wind in the rigging. Something deeper, something submerged. The harbour records showed no vessels entering or leaving. The ferry logs were clean. Radar scans revealed nothing but static interference between 9:12 and 9:19 p.m., 7 minutes. Divers searched below Kirn Pier 2 days later when the fog finally loosened its grip. They found no body, no current strong enough to carry one away. Only an anomaly beneath the pier, an old anchor chain long since disconnected, its final link freshly sheared. The cut was clean, deliberate. The chain had once secured a floating barrier decades ago, a defensive remnant from another era. No one could explain why it would snap now, or why the metal looked newly scored. Alistair had worked the ferries for 42 years. He knew the Clyde better than most men know their own gardens. He would have recognised a danger, unless it wasn't one he could see. The watchmaker in town examined the cracked pocket watch. He insisted the break in the glass suggested internal pressure, like something had pressed outward, not inward, as though the watch had been gripped from within. On the 7th night after his disappearance, the fog returned. Heavy. Waiting. A young couple walking their dog along Marine Parade paused when they heard it. The same low groan rising through the mist like a hull twisting under strain. The dog refused to move forward, and for a moment, just before the sound faded, they both swore they saw a figure standing at the end of Kirn Pier. Not moving, not waving, simply watching the shore. When police reached the pier minutes later, it was empty, but resting on the bench where Alistair's coat had once been folded lay his pocket watch, dry, unbroken, ticking, and set precisely 7 minutes fast.